Hey there, Capricorn. Welcome to your reading for the week of October 6th. This week you have this Go the Distance card and this Chaos and Conflict card. I feel some of you could be fearing that there will be chaos or conflict if you go the distance, right? And so if there's anything that you want to commit to or anything you want to do in your life, I would go the distance, even if you're like fearing that things won't work out. It seems to be like a little bit of a common fear for people right now, and especially you, Capricorn, because you're being asked to completely change. And we've talked about this with Pluto having been in your sign for so long, and now it's in Aquarius. It's kind of like asking you to change, reinvent yourself, move in new directions, try new things, all that other good stuff. So again, I feel a lot of you are kind of like feeling that energy. With the Go the Distance card and the Star, she's kind of like just dipping her toes in the water there. And I always say with the Star that she needs to like dive into the deep end, right? She needs to make the full commitment. If she's going to do something, she needs to go all the way and, all the way into that pool. And so if you're thinking about doing anything, I would say go all the way here, Capricorn, because you'll be happy that you did. You have the Seven of Pentacles, Three of Cups, and the Ace of Pentacles. I feel kind of weird on this Seven of Pentacles, not in a bad way, but I just feel very general about it. Seven of Pentacles is my card that says, is the juice worth the squeeze? He's like looking at what he has built or invested in his life, and he's saying like, is it worth it, or is there something more that I could have? And I feel very general about this energy. I feel like in general, you are looking at your life and saying, I want more, or you're looking at the places where you want to expand and grow. You end with the Three of Wands, which is expansion. And so, like, there are a lot of questions that I feel on the Seven of Wands, or the Seven of Pentacles, sorry. And, you could be just looking to grow. You could be looking for more in life. And, I feel like you're trying to make things better. So that's what I feel there. You have the Three of Cups. Yeah, it's a very social month. The entire month of October seems to be a time where we could be leaning on support systems more. I think it is a good month to lean on support systems, but we just want to make sure we're leaning on the right people. The people who really lift us up, the people who really support us. I always say the Three of Cups is a card of concentrated connections. There's only three people on the card. And so the reason this person maybe is picking these two people is because they are the most supportive people in her life. And sorry, I'm losing my voice now. That's maybe what you have to choose with the Three of Cups, is like to spend more time with those people who really support your vision. Three of Cups is also, they're celebrating this harvest that's going on around them. Seven of Pentacles, he's looking at the harvest. He's looking at what he has done. And sometimes I feel with that Seven of Pentacles that like he's done the work and he's just like waiting for the result. He's kind of like, am I going to get a result on the work I've been doing or not? And I feel that for some of you, where you're kind of like waiting for the harvest to appear. And I do feel it's here. Like maybe some of you literally need to harvest. It's like you've done the work, but now it's time to like pick the fruit. It's time to get the rewards for the work that you've actually done. You have the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles can be a big opportunity that's coming up for you. We have the King of Pentacles. He's holding on to one big pentacle on the King of Pentacles. So I would definitely be paying attention to opportunity. This week, I would say the month of October seems to be a month that could be bringing us new opportunities or things that have potential. Sometimes I think that's the challenge with the Ace of Pentacles, is it can just be an opportunity that has potential, which really means nothing. Potential is, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. So there could be something coming in for you that could grow really, really well, but you're going to have to like put the energy in to nurture it, take care of it, get it to grow, and all that other good stuff. So I would keep, especially with all these harvest cards here, if you have already been working on something, like keep going. Don't stop now, right? With the Seven of Pentacles, yes, you have the Nine of Pentacles, an even better harvest card, right? She has her grapes behind her on this card, and this is a card of gratitude and luxuries. I kind of feel like this is the life you're trying to create. I do feel like Capricorns sometimes do like the nicer things in life, of course. And so you might be getting a little fancy here, Capricorn, or you might be trying to make your life more fancy or something. I don't know. That's what's popping into my head, so I'm going to say it. But I feel that. I do feel like focus would be good for you this month. If I were a Capricorn, and I basically am, what I would do, like literally this month, I am working on one thing other than this channel, right? I have picked one project and I'm making it, dedicated focus. It's like, even if I only work an hour on that project every single day, as long as I'm like dedicated focus, so it's the only thing that has my attention in that moment, then things will go well. And that's what I think you need to do this month. I would like pick one thing that you want to accomplish. And even if it's only an hour, like one dedicated focus hour will be more than 8 unfocused hours, right? So, it's almost like if you just make the time for something, that's where the success will come from. And that's kind of what's popping into my head with that card. With the Three of Cups, you have the Page of Swords. Page of Swords can be like spying. Can be a card of curiosity, which is more of what I feel for you. We don't really see anything yet. I mean, that could change in a minute, but we don't really see anything about spying. I feel this is more encouraging you to get curious. I also feel it would be a good time for you to like figure out how to get people to support you. And I'm not talking about like in a toxic way or anything like that, but Capricorn, you could definitely be one of those signs that's building up a following, just in general, like people who support you. Literally could be like a social media following, which I think has come up for you before. You have a star, and the star is about standing out in the world. It's about being an inspiration. And so I feel that, this could be about learning how to get people, like learning how to be persuasive, or learning how to speak to people in work, in business, all that other good stuff. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Emperor. Yes, just needing to grab onto this opportunity. He is waiting for an opportunity. He has his armor on underneath his cloak, but he's just sitting here. He's not doing anything, which is fine, because when he is ready to go at a moment's notice, I feel that you need to be ready, not just this week, but I would say, maybe for the next few months, you should just be prepared for opportunities that come your way. I feel like you're going to have to like take them quickly. We kind of are in that time where it's like, if we see something, well, let's just put it this way. Things are moving fast, right? We have AI now, which is changing like very quickly. So when you think about it, we are definitely in a time where if you get an idea for something, you're going to have to move quickly before things change again, right? And so I'm not really saying this to like freak you out or put the pressure on, but again, if you see a good opportunity in any area of your life, I would jump on it and take advantage of it. You'll be happy that you did. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Oracle's Gift card and this Body and Soul card. It's like, I feel like this is your intuition, but I feel that like something right now is like a whisper, it's like something is maybe quiet. It's like you feel something to me, I feel this is how you feel to me, if that makes sense. I feel like there is something that's kind of nagging at you in a good way. It's like you might have an inspiration for work or business. Clearly, this reading is mostly about money, although there is love here. But it's almost like all the money cards you have are kind of like seeds. Like the Ace of Pentacles is a big ass seed that you're going to plant in the ground and hope that it grows, right? And so I feel like your intuition, it's there. I feel like you feel a direction in your life intuitively, but it might be very quiet. And I'm not necessarily sure if you need to make it louder or not yet. Maybe we'll find an answer in this row. You have the Star, the Four of Pentacles, and the King of Wands. The Star, again, I feel for you is about going all the way with that go the distance card for sure. She needs to jump into this pool. She's asking the universe for something. These ripples, this right here is the pool of universal consciousness, and those ripples are going out into the universe. And so she is basically telling the universe what she wants. But she could just easily get into that pool. She could easily get what she wants if she jumped in. So I definitely feel that with the Star card. Again, the Star is an amazing card for having a single focus. It's about having a North Star, one guiding light, one thing that you are focused on creating or having or doing in your life. So I would say for the next few months at least, that you should have a single focus, because that's going to make you the most successful, plain and simple. You have the Four of Pentacles. I literally said to, I think, Pisces, like the first reading I did this week, that everybody was going to have the Four of Pentacles this week, and I wasn't wrong. So there's something about this week that I feel is triggering people's security. It's not like in a bad way, but I feel like there are things happening where people are going to want to feel more secure or realize that they need to create their own security. So definitely a collective vibe going on with the Four of Pentacles. Again, obviously, I think for you, this is probably financial security, where you could be trying to do something to set yourself up for the future. Four of Pentacles wants us to leave comfort zones, and you have the Three of Wands as well. Three of Wands wants us to leave comfort zones. So I would say, anything you can do to try new things to improve your finances is probably going to be the thing that brings in financial security. Although I do feel pretty good about this, and you're reading the Four of Pentacles. I feel with the King of Pentacles and the Ace of Pentacles that you're probably just creating more financial security. So it's like you're doing exactly what you should be doing. You have the King of Wands. Yeah, King of Wands is about being bold, being assertive. You always get this with me. Maybe not this card, but I think you get a lot of these cards that say it's time to step up, be bold, be assertive, go for what you want. And I feel that if you do that, you'll be successful. Also with the Star, the King of Wands is a visionary. I think it's something that people forget about the King of Wands. He has visionary ideas. He has futuristic ideas. He kind of is innovative in a lot of ways. And the Star definitely encourages innovation. It encourages us to try new ideas. It's Aquarius. Aquarius is the innovator. And, being your second house, Capricorn, I would be doing whatever you can to innovate. I would be doing whatever you can to invent new things, new ideas, even in your personal life, because, it'll benefit you quite a bit. With the Star card, you have the King of Pentacles. The other thing about having Pluto in your second, Capricorn, is that Pluto is where you get your power, or how you use your power, right? So being in your second house of like earned income, your values, things like that, the more you stick up for your values, the more you live your values, the better your life will be with Pluto there. And, the more you take care of your finances. We're not talking about materialism here either, Capricorn. What we're talking about is the more that you treat money well, which doesn't necessarily mean buying like 10 Ferraris, right? The more you do the right things with your money, the better your money will be. So, again, but this goes for you too, because again, the second house is how you express your values to the world. Those, the first three houses are all personal. I think, most people think of the first house as, they're how they appear to the world, but really it's like the first three houses. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the Ace of Pentacles again. I almost said the Ace of Pentacles on the Star, which is funny. So I would clearly be moving towards a new opportunity here, whatever it is here, Capricorn, because it's probably going to be leading to a lot of growth. I feel some of you already are working on a new opportunity. It's like you're already creating something in the world. The King of Pentacles has a lot of skills, and, even we have the grapes on the Nine of Pentacles, the grapes on the King of Pentacles. The grapes in the tarot represent something that's difficult for most people, but that you can do well. So it can represent like having a skill that you can do well, that you need to use in the world. With the King of Wands, you have the Nine of Swords. Yes, the fears, right? Needing to let go. The chaos and conflict card there. I feel this is what needs to be let go of. I feel like some of you are afraid of repeating a mistake. I think I said this to you once, Capricorn, like recently. It's like having Pluto in your sign, like you had, especially in Capricorn, is like touching a hot stove. It's like if you touch a hot stove, and then even after Pluto leaves Capricorn, it's like if you see another thing that reminds you of a hot stove, you're not going to want to touch it again. But, I think the challenge for Capricorn is to realize that the stove might not be on. This could be in love, could be in business, but it's like I think Capricorn is getting a bunch of opportunities that look like past opportunities, but are different. The reason they look like past opportunities is because the universe is like, did you learn your lesson the first time? Did you learn what to look out for, right? Did you maybe just put your hand over the stove and make sure that it's not hot first, right? And if it's not hot, then you can touch it, right? If it is hot, then you don't entertain the situation. And I feel that's what this part of the reading is basically saying. Next, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this pull yourself close card. It says, every part of your being deserves love. Yes. You have this, here you go. You have this let go of the past card. It says, it's time to envision a new story. Yes, maybe you're not even looking at a stove. Maybe you're looking at something that looks like a stove, but it isn't. So I feel that some of you, it's like the hot stove story is what you have to change. If you are thinking like, oh, every relationship I get in is the same, or every time I start a business I fail, or every time I try to get a job they say no, it's like that is the story that has to be let go of so you can live a better life, plain and simple. You have the King of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, and the Hangman. I do like the King of Pentacles for love, so, if you're attracting a person, it's definitely not a stove person. It's probably more of a dishwasher or something like that, something that's not going to hurt you. I don't know. But, again, the King of Pentacles usually wants something permanent in connection. I also, obviously, I feel very good about money for you in this reading, Capricorn, which is probably good to hear on your side. I feel, again, money probably hasn't been the easiest. Not that it's been impossible, but, not the easiest for you. And I feel that he has a lot of experience. He has these grapes. The grapes say he knows a lot. He knows how to do something hard. So I feel like you need to give yourself credit for the work that you know how to do. That's where your success is going to come from. You have the Page of Cups, so definitely could be love for those of you that want it. You've been getting a lot of love this year, so yeah, I don't know, maybe it's time for Capricorn to have love. You go down to the Knight of Cups as well, so, could be a knight in shining armor, and, this could be love. With the Star, this could also be a dream. The Page of Cups has this fish here. That fish might not exist. It might be part of his imagination. We don't really know. Some people say it's his pet, but, all I care about with the Page of Cups is that we bring that fish down to earth. We have to catch that fish and make sure it doesn't escape. So if you have a dream, it's like clearly it's time to get to work. The funny thing about the Knight of Cups is he's also very dreamy, but he's standing in the desert and he has this water flowing in front of him. And the card itself says even though he's in the desert where basically nothing can grow, he could easily plant seeds in front of that water and they would grow. So even if you don't think something could work, right here, Nine of Swords, also right here, chaos and conflict, I feel like you need to realize that something is probably going to work better than you think if you do it. You have the Hangman. I don't know. I feel like you need new perspectives, Uranus and Gemini. We have Uranus and Gemini until the middle of November. It's going to retrograde back into Taurus. But, I feel we are in a time where we have to kind of like look at things from new perspectives. I always say that, now with Uranus and Gemini, I always say the Hangman is basically Uranus and Gemini. Not exactly, it's Pisces, but, it doesn't matter. It is a very similar energy. Uranus and Gemini wants us to look at all perspectives, like all the ways we could do things. And if we look at things from all the perspectives, who knows what we'll discover? Probably something brilliant. With the King of Pentacles, here you go. You have the Two of Cups. Yes, definitely could be love, for sure. Two of Cups is a perfect match. Two of Cups is two people who are very different. I feel like I said this to you before as well, Capricorn, so you could be attracting a very different person. The funny thing is I feel like people in your life are going to say that you're very different as well. It's like people, which, that might be something to look out for. It's like, if people are hating on the connection for no reason, then, I would be very careful of other people, but there are some differences here. With the Page of Cups, you have the Chariot. Yeah, definitely could be a victory coming in for you, but I feel for you, this is about, you will notice speed if you focus on one thing, right? It's like I said, that dedicated attention, like even if it's 1 hour a day to a project or something you're trying to create, I feel that's, even though 1 hour doesn't sound like a lot of time, it is. And I feel that's where you will see the success, is giving something dedicated attention. And I think you will also be surprised at the speed at which it works. I feel some of you are working on a project or something, and it's like, it's working quick. Like, I think you need to realize that it will work quickly because of the dedicated attention, right? It's like if you're scattered and you're just doing it all over the place, it's not going to work as well. With the Hangman, you have the Seven of Swords. Exactly what I said. Seven of Swords, he is stealing these swords from an army in the background of the card. So he's going to war, but in a different way. Like I was saying, Uranus and Gemini is about figuring out a new approach, or learning about all the approaches to success in any area of your life that you choose, and needing to figure out which is best, right? But he's not taking a direct approach to something. He's taking an indirect approach to something. And so, again, I think that might be something for you to think about. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this transformation card and this patience card. Yeah, you have been very patient for a change or a transformation. So I feel you are transforming, but it's taken 20 years or 19 years that Pluto was in your sign. So you are definitely going through a change. You have the Three of Wands, the Five of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. The Three of Wands is a card of expansion. Three of Wands, can represent your ships coming in, but really those ships are pointing out of the harbor, and they are going somewhere he doesn't know. They are going on an adventure. He has never been to where those ships are going. The Three of Wands is about exploring the unknown. So I feel like there is an unknown in your life, star card. You have to jump into the pool of water, and I feel exploring some sort of unknown in your life will probably be the thing that brings expansion and blessings and good energy into your life. So don't be afraid of expanding. You have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands can be conflict or competition. A lot of people have been getting Five of Wands this week as well. For you, it's showing up in the good stuff, which literally could represent you standing out above the competition. So if you're doing something where there is competition, I would keep doing it. Looks like it's going to be good to me for you. So, I would embrace the competition. This can also say that you are standing out above the competition. You have the Knight of Cups. Definitely could be a knight in shining armor. I mean, if you think there's competition for a person, again, you could be the one that's like winning the competition of a person. The Knight of Cups, again, says plant seeds, right? You have ideas. You need to plant those seeds in front of the water. They will grow. I think this is the challenge for Capricorn, is that, if you want to do something, it might look like you don't have the resources to do it. But you actually do, but you won't realize that until you get started. And so even if you think you can't do something, I would do it anyway, because I think you will surprise yourself. With the Three of Wands, you have the Justice card. This is showing up in the good stuff, but I get this feeling of playing it too safe or something here, Capricorn. The Justice card is like trying to be neutral, trying to be, in the middle. And I feel this is saying it would be a better time for you to take bigger risks. Like, don't sit on a fence, make choices, And I feel doing that, being decisive at this time will probably be more helpful than not. With the Five of Wands, you have the Five of Cups. You will not be disappointed. Five of Cups is normally disappointment, but showing up in the good stuff, it would say you are not going to be disappointed in something. The Five of Cups, there is you have that card, the let go of the past card. So it's like he's holding on to his past story right here. But this is his new story, which leads to this bridge in this castle over here. So it might be time for you to let go of the past story, but it's coming up in the good stuff, so you probably are. With the Knight of Cups, here you go. You have the Sun. Yeah, this will make you very happy, Capricorn, the Knight of Cups. So whether that's love or something that needs to grow doesn't really matter. I think whatever it is will make you very happy. We also have the Sun and the Star. The Sun and the Star to me is like fame and fortune. And so the Sun and the Star doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to become famous, but I definitely feel, like I said, Pluto in your second. It's like how you value yourself is going to make you stand out, right? And it's time for you to stand out with Pluto in your second house. So I would be doing whatever you can to stand out. You have this Parrot card. It says someone will gossip about you and all your secrets. Let them talk, right? I love when people talk about me. It's free attention, right? And so I would do whatever you can to ignore it, right? Especially if people are gossiping about you or talking about you or whatever. It probably means you're doing something right. You have this Woman card. It says dealings or relationships with a woman. You have this Eye card. It says psychic ability, trust your intuition. This could be you. Sometimes, again, it doesn't matter what gender you are. I think that, again, in a general reading, the Woman card could just be you. And you have that Oracle's gift card, so it is a very intuitive time. I feel it's very subtle. Like, that's the thing that Capricorn needs to realize, is that your intuition might be a little bit more quiet. It might be just a little hunch, and maybe that's part of the challenge here, is that you're having to pay attention to those like little hunches instead of like loud messages, and I would pay attention. You have this Clouds card. It says temporary problems. Do not let temporary problems stop you. Again, just looking at Capricorn's astrology, I feel that, yes, there might be little obstacles that pop up. The problem is if they remind you of the past. That's going to be the challenge for Capricorn, because the hot stove thing, right? But I think you need to realize there are no more stoves in your life. There are things that look like stoves, that look like they might be on, but if you just take your time and put your hand over it, make sure it's not hot, then you won't get burned, right? And I think that's what you need to realize. You have this vase card. It says secret admirer. Yes, clearly. Page of Cups, Page of Swords is a secret admirer as well. So, I don't know. Someone wants to be all up in your business here, Capricorn. Or it could be you. I don't know. But whatever. Take it how it resonates. You have this stork. It says news of a birth or a new business opportunity. Clearly. Definitely a new opportunity. We talked all about it at the beginning of the reading. And I feel like birthing new things is where success is going to come from for you here, Capricorn. So go for it. I like this for you, Capricorn. Looks really good. So thank you for being here and definitely enjoy your week.